the essential training series for Expo.
Welcome to this tutorial, where we are going to talk about the new addition to SimLab Composer, Expo mode. We have a simple model of a desk with default materials assigned to it. You can download this model from our website for the purposes of this tutorial. To access Expo mode, you need to click on the icon designated for this feature. Once you're inside Expo mode, you can see that it's a simplified interface that is meant to view your product with the full capabilities of SimLab Composer. Quickly going through the interface, this icon takes us back to the Composers panel. This icon gives you access to Expo mode settings. The first tab in the settings menu allows you to change the top banner of your Expo mode. I'm going to click the Browse button and navigate to a different banner. As you can see, the banner has changed to the one we selected. In the second tab of the settings, you will be able to change the view mode from single to fixed size. Within the fixed size mode, you can set the resolution of your 3D area. Let's set it to 1K pixels by 1K pixels. By clicking OK, you will see the 3D area changing to the resolution we assigned to it. You can also change the view mode from solid, which is the default view mode, to solid illustrations, where we can see the edges of our model along with the materials assigned to it. In the third tab, you can change the icon size in the panel to your left. Let's set it back to medium. In the fourth tab, you can choose which library elements to call from SimLab Composer. You can choose to show your models, materials, scene states, images, walkthroughs, environment library, and background library. We will go into further details about those libraries as we proceed with our tutorial. The next icon is the real-time rendering icon. By clicking this icon or simply pressing F4 on your keyboard will initiate the real-time rendering, as you can see. The last two icons play your animation or simulation. In this tutorial, we just have an animation for this model breaking up and being reassembled. Now we are going to examine our render settings and materials to prepare them for Expo mode. As you can see, the materials on this object are default materials which one need to change to achieve the desired look we are after. As for the render settings, we will be using just an HDRI map with brightness set to 10 so that we won't have to add additional lights to our scene. And for the background, we are going to use a single solid color. To easily modify the materials, we go to the Material tab and click on Show Materials. A window will pop up with all the materials assigned to your objects. Let's start by modifying the main body material. We are going to set it to a metallic paint material and change the coat color to a yellowish gray color. We hit F4 on the keyboard. to render the scene and see how the material will look like in Expo mode. By clicking on a different part of the desktop, we gain access to the material assigned to it. Let's go ahead and change that to a plastic material and change the color of that material. Now, we need to change the glass surface's material. We click on the surface and set the material to thin glass. We are going to set the attributes for all the remaining materials. Let's take a look at our rendered results. If we are satisfied with the results, we proceed to setting those materials for use in Expo mode. What we need to do now is save our materials in a library so we can call them while we're in Expo mode. To do that, we will click on the icon Manage in the Material tab and click the button New on the left panel to create a material library. I am going to name it Desktop. On the right panel, I will click New to create groups within my main desktop library. Let's name this one Main. Create another one and name it Secondary. And another one for our glass material. As you can see, a new library has been added with all the groups that we created. You can simply add your materials by dragging them from the Scene Material window to your library panel. Let's duplicate this material by clicking it and dragging it within the panel. A message box will appear notifying you about having two materials with the same name convention. We click OK and enter a new name for our material. Let's name it Main Parts 2. Now, we can easily change the color of this material, say to a light blue color, creating two options for main parts. We are going to do the same for our glass material and the secondary parts material. The last step is regenerating our new materials icons. We simply select our new library and click on Regenerate Library in the Material tab. A message will appear asking for your confirmation to generate the icons. Just click Yes. It will take a few seconds to regenerate the icons. After that, we can see our new icons in the library. And those new materials will also be available in the Expo mode. To apply to your materials, simply drag them and drop them on your objects the same way you do in Composer. A different, more elaborate approach to view your scene is using scene states. Scene states is a feature that allows you to save different attributes combinations for your scene as presets. That, when called, will apply those attributes to your scene. This can become very handy within Expo mode. To access the Scene States tab, click on Scene States within the Scene Building panel. Scene States can preserve attributes such as transformation, visibility, camera settings, lights, materials, and environment settings. To create a scene state with your current scene attributes, simply click on Capture from Scene. By default, it will capture all the attributes that were mentioned before. The user has the ability to select which attributes to capture by clicking on the icon related to that attribute from the Scene States tab. In our tutorial, we will benefit mostly from capturing, materials, and camera settings. Let's start by capturing different materials for our scene. Disable all the attributes except for the Materials attribute and click on Capture. Pick materials from your scene and change them or modify them. Then click Capture Scene States again. As you can see, we now have the scene states stored. The first one has all the attributes captured, while the second one has only the material attributes captured, and the same goes for the third one. To apply your scene state, simply double-click on it. Now, let's create scene states for our camera. You can do that by disabling the material attribute in your scene states panel and enabling the camera attributes. Let's go ahead and change our camera view to our perspective angle and click on Capture. Now change the view to Top View and click Capture again. Let's do another one for Front View. As you can see, double-clicking a scene state applies the attributes it holds only, which allows us to create combinations of camera views and materials or any other attribute that we prefer. To manage those attributes into categories, click on Manage from the Scene States tab. Click on the plus button to create a new category. Let's name it Materials. Click OK. Now, if you go to a scene state, you can see that the new category has been added to the Group section. Change it from Default to Materials. Open the Manage Scene States window again by clicking Manage, and create a new category with the name Cameras. Change the scene state groups to Cameras. Now, if we go to Expo mode, we will find our categories under Scene States. Dragging the Scene States icon to your 3D area will apply them. You can also double-click your states for the same result. An additional enhancement that could be used is changing the thumbnails of your scene states. To do that, select a scene state and go to the thumbnail icon on the right panel. Click it to browse for an image to replace your thumbnail. I find it a good practice to change the thumbnails to rendered images of that scene state, which will give you a better visual aid while navigating your scene states in Expo mode. The amount of variations and options you get by using scene states is unlimited. It will also organize your presentation and give you quick access to your predefined attributes. Expo mode can also play a slideshow or a gallery of images you choose. To do so, go to the Rendering panel and go to the Output Image tab and click on Add Images, and click on the plus icon to browse through your computer and select the images you want. And then click OK. Go to Expo mode and select the Images playlist. Double-click on an image to view it, or set a duration time and click play to run a slideshow of all your images.